when they came chanting Allah Akbar after he has beheaded the head of a Christian, he licked the blood.
Have there been instances where you heard about Muslims also being attacked in a similar manner?
Muslims are saying they are killed, we killed them. Ask them, where did we kill them? Look at the recent killing. Look at this child was killed, and you are saying it's not a genocide.
So you're alleging that some of these attackers are being sponsored by people in power?
Let the Nigerian government prove me wrong. The repentant Boko Haram have been exhausted into Nigerian army and air force, police. That's why Christians must have a say in politics.
Do you have people giving you this information, or it's speculation?
Absolutely, from the bottom of my heart, insiders. I'm over 100% accepting the intervention of Trump because Nigerian government, their hands are tied.
So guys, finally, Reverend Ezekiel Dachimo granted an interview session on News Central. The popular pastor who has been seen all over the social media calling on Trump to come to their rescue after the Fulani headsmen continue buying his people and burning down their churches. Many people have accused the Nigerian media houses of being quiet and not doing their job when it comes to, featuring some of these incidences on their media platforms. We are happy to see him coming out this time on News Central, granting an interview and revealing so much. So guys, this man has made it known to Nigerians that the Northerners, the Fulanis, are the ones running the Nigerian government. They are the ones determining what is happening in Nigeria today. He also accused the office of the National Security Advisor of the President that position is a very hot position. Everybody wants it, and they always give it to the Fulanis. Like you can see, that is the office that Ribadu holds. And that is why today you have negotiation. They are the ones pressing to negotiate for bandits. So guys, I'm just going to allow you to take your time and watch this video for yourself and hear from the horse's mouth. This man has revealed so much of what is happening in the country. Don't forget, this is just a part 1 of this video, meaning that TVC is also going to be releasing the part 2 of it. Watch this video and let me know your honest reaction in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Now take a look.
Reverend, the United States President Donald Trump made global headlines when he threatened that there might be, or they're considering a military intervention in Nigeria, and that is because of what he called a Christian genocide. However, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuggar of Nigeria, dismissed the claim, and he says it is false and inflammatory, and he insists that insecurity affects all of Nigerians equally. Now, my first question is, what exactly is your claim? Are you saying that Christians are being targeted in Nigeria? The killings in Nigeria are targeted? Or are you saying that Christians are disproportionately affected, even though the killing is targeted at everyone?
By the power of Jesus Christ, who came and died on the cross to redeem us from the power of sin. And we still call upon the name of the Lord Jesus Christ to deliver us from terrorists, Islamic terrorists. I said it confidently. Northern Islamic evil satanic agenda that want to take over this country and lure us to be like Turkey, to be like Afghanistan, to be like other nations that have no peace in the Islamic Middle East. A voice must cry out to invite the heavenly throne government to interfere. And this is what is happening today. We have been crying out for over 30 years. Right from 2021. It is before that time, because 2021, this thing come glaring. There's a jihad moving to destroy Nigeria. Before 2021, there was a lot of casualties that will have been received all over the north. I would say Nigeria. But it has been silenced, enduring the pain, until a launch of the jihad came 2001. And the full blow was just moving. We are just enjoying it, pressing it down. Women are being raped. Come and see, we have to be slave to the Islamic terrorists. They will force you to go and farm for them. If our local native people do not go and farm for them, then even if you farm, they know you have farmed, you will not harvest anything. Until this thing grown up to become a full-blown, genocide. I have the statistics. I have been to the monument. I have called names. These are the names of people that have been killed in one day, one night, 501. This happened on the 7th March 2010 in Dogonawa, Gembruk. Gembruk is a local dialect name from our forefathers. When they came, gradually our forefathers accommodated them in peace. But when they grown up with external forces, they changed the name to Dogonawa. Abandon the native, this is a jihad movement. When they want to take the land, they invited Islamic terrorists from the far north, Niger, Chad. If Nigeria don't know about it, please know about this. Why did they cancel history in Nigerian secondary school? It's jihad. So that we will not read about the history of how Ottoman Danfodio was moving towards the cause to force everybody in Nigeria to become a Muslim. But our forefathers blocked him from flowing into the south. They hit that the west, southwest, southeast, south, that they are supposed to receive. We are the ones that are receiving it at the middle bed. We stop that hit by standing on our faith in Christ. We refuse to submit our soul to Islam. That is why in one night, look at it, 501 people were killed completely in one night. I was there in the morning after the insurgent left. Come and see blood everywhere. In the process of carrying dead corpse from every house, from some on the road, some on the field, some in the gutter. Depends on where they met you. They slaughtered you. A woman gave me a testimony that day. It was God in tears that saved her. When they came, they said Pharaoh, because it was during the moonlight that very day. When they came, chanting Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, entering this village, she saw one of the insurgents after he has beheaded the head, blood of a Christian victim. He licked the blood. She was watching him, shivering. With her child, she covered his mouth. This is a religion that chant Allah Akbar, calling people for worship. And the same religion, they shout Allah Akbar, calling people to come and kill.
Okay, but Reverend, are we now saying that all of the 500 plus persons that were killed that night are Christians?
All of them are Christian.
Because I want us to look at some national data here. In 2024, Human Angle Media reported nearly 9,600 deaths nationwide, and it estimated roughly 60% of the deaths were Muslim and 40% were Christian victims. And this was driven largely by farmer-herder clashes, terrorism, and communal retaliation. So when we see figures like this, does this now challenge the position that the killings are religiously motivated, especially against Christians?
Let me tell you something about these statistics. They say 60% Muslim. Killed by who? By Muslims. Based on different faith of sect. And do you know what this thing? It is the blood of the Christian that is fighting Islam. Those that have been killed. You see, when they came in, the factuals, in Borno, they follow villages. On Sunday, they will enter a village and meet people worshiping on Sunday. And they will separate the male from the female. And all the male in the local area, like Gwaza area, Madagali, these are in the North Borno area. And this is what is happening. Do you know something? they will slaughter all the male. Those that will survive in that church, they may have not come to church, and they were able to escape that. And the women, they will select the one that they needed. They will rape them. They will do what they want. And this is one, they will leave the children at the mercy. Many of the Christian women relocated to Middlebelt, and their land was seized. Their crops was vandalized. And even as I'm talking now, let the Nigerian government prove me wrong. Let them go to Ngoshe mountain around Gaza. It has been occupied by Boko Haram. You can't climb that mountain. They declared it as their headquarters, a colony. And it is from there that they used to come down to come and kill. Now in all the village, after sending the Christian away, the Christian relocate. If you see Christian, it's in the urban area where there is security. Maybe inside Maiduguri, you find Christian. I've been there. And most of them, if you are to interview them, fact-finding, you will discover they run for refuge into the city. At least that's where they're getting covered. Rural areas of Borno, hardly you will find a Christian. The same thing in Katsina, the same thing in Zamfara, the same thing in Kanu. If you are there as a Christian, you ought to be allegiant to them to control your life. So after they are left, now the machinery, the insurgent that they have brought, then the issue of faith came in. What happened? They started hitting. The Fulani were hitting the houses, killing them in the mosques, killing them in everywhere. They know this is factual statement because I've been there. I preached on television of Zamfara, NT. I preached on Katsina. Even the day that I was in Gusau, that day, Matawale village, the president, his village was attacked. We were busy praying for them. Those that were able to escape, the Boko Haram entered that village of Matawale. And this is where Muslims are killing Muslims, the Izalas are killing other faith because of their indifferences. It is the blood of innocent Christians that is fighting them that were killed.
Okay, I want us to talk about the attacks, the alleged attacks in churches.
Yes.
Right. So you've shared harrowing accounts of your grandmother's heart being removed, and you also talked about your uncle's tongue being cut off.
Yes.
You also mentioned your best friend's wife and her kids, her 5 kids. You even said that she was, backing one of them. Now, recently, we saw that the pastor of Flaming Fire's ministry, Simon Mbak, was killed, but then he was killed in the farm. So all of these attacks, were they carried out in churches, or were most of them carried out in churches or in different regions?
In different regions. Some on the farm, some outside on the way, from the market going home. They'll be ambushed, and hardly you will hear that. And let me tell you something. They say farmer is a slogan of Islamic movement to deceive the world. That is farmers clashing. We have that even before the colonial, after the independence. We have that. We settle differences. Once Hardo or a Fulani man discover that his children have destroyed fire, before you wake up, he will be there at your doorstep. After worshiping, doing his salah, he will come and wait and say, please, yesterday my children came. That's how we are living peacefully. Because of that, we sympathize with them. We say, it's okay. But the present set that I know, they are really troublemakers. And this is what is happening today, my sister. They butchered us, even in the market. They can enter with AK-47 sporadically. And this is where they came to my village, BA. It's in Liom local government, that's Liom district. BA, this is where I grown up. And the Fulani knows that that is my village. They invented chanting, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, sporadic shooting all over the village from different angles. And this is the sound of their ghosts. I don't know whether it comes from, is it Iraq or Iran or anything. You hear kukum, 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 kukum. This is the sound of the terrorists in Islam. And when they enter the village, and this is what happened. They move after that night. Those that were able to escape helter-skelter, they were able to go and hide. Then they burned the villages. I was called. I have to take a journalist to that village. the following morning. Because I wanted to go down there. They said, no, don't come this night. They can do something for you. I was crying. I couldn't sleep. My wife is here with me. She know I was restless in Bukuru that time. Until when it was in the morning, I was able to move. Come and see children that came out from the bush and they were in trauma. Women that hid themselves and went reluctantly into the village. The youths that escaped, they gathered themselves and come back into the village. They were following me into the house. What will I see? I was able to see my grandmother that I grown up with in Gomata. And the youths were challenging me that they want us to bring something for their self-defense. And we didn't do anything. And look at it here. When I saw her corpse, the youths are the one that opened her chest for me. And I saw a broken knife. There was no heart. They asked me, would they remove that knife? I said, no, leave it there. Let that knife become a weakness for us when eternity comes. Wherever they are, they will not escape judgment. Then they say, I should follow them again. Behind the yard, here is my uncle's corpse called Dangai. His tongue was removed. I asked the youth, they asked me, what will I do? That day, I was surprised to see the governor, Governor Jonah Jam. I had Serene. He came to the village, and you have to cross 2 rivers. He came, and we did the burial. 13 people were killed. The monument is there. We didn't build it, but by God's grace, we'll build it. They took me to my childhood friend. We grown up, Dalio gang. What will I see? I went into his house. I saw his wife, 4 children. They are on other side struggling, and the woman, there's nothing she can do. The fire just came down and burned them all. The woman quickly pulled her child at the back, seeking for the way to escape. I discovered they locked the door so that none of them would come out. That is how we buried her with her child at the back. The agony of Christian in Nigeria.
So I want to find out, all of these attacks that you have mentioned, they're quite harrowing, and I'm sorry about your grandmother and your uncle. Have there been instances where you heard about Muslims also being attacked in a similar manner?
Let me tell you, no Christian attack Muslims. If you see a Muslim dead, where did he die? It is in our village.
So you're saying the Muslims also attacked other Muslims?
I'm talking about when you see another attack, Muslims are saying they are killed, we killed them. Ask them, where did we kill them? In self-defense in the village, casualties came. In our village, they loot the village. Look at this village. Look at this material. These are all the houses that they burned. Look at the number of people, number of houses destroyed, 120 in one village. Total number of dead. Because God was able, and this is Christmas Eve, 1 person. But the other village, you can see me at their gravesite burying people at that place. But this village, disease, and this is the person that died, Mr. Tambaya. Total number of displaced people in that one village that they burned, including the church building. These are factuals that are here. In that process, some of the Muslim folk casualties. And there's one thing, the Fulani always come with extra people that in case, in self-defense, the folk casualties, they drag their corpse. They know I'm saying the truth. They know, you are listening to me. They drag their corpse to the Aruga. And they will go on videotape and say, we killed them. Where? We have never moved to Ruga where they are settling. But I'm asking God, God, if it is your will, give us just one day to visit Ruga. Then they will know what stuff Christians are made of. But we have been establishing patience based on our faith in Christ. Jesus said, love your enemy. If they are hungry, feed them. If they are sheltered, give them shelter. And we all did that. We give them place to sit down and rear their cattle. Even when we make harvest, we allow them to enter and eat the remaining crops that we left over. We're full of love. Look at another village again that I went. It was dangerous. Oh God, help me. This is where Reverend was killed. And look at the houses. They were burned down. And I thank God the chief of defense staff came. This is NTV community. They came, Nigerian government came. The present chief of defense staff, Junior Matawali, he came. That day I knelt down, I begged them. Let them help us. Why is it that it's only the Muslim always come to our domain and attack us?
Okay, so you have mentioned that, in your statement now, you've mentioned that the governor of Plateau State came to one of the villages when it was attacked. You also mentioned that the chief of defense staff came. So that means that it has reached their ears. Has there been any follow-up since then regarding this? And what was their response?
Do you know that minister of, I don't get her name, that minister of humanitarian that was removed by present government? Because that woman was able to mobilize and bring materials as directed by the president. When she brought, I don't know what happened. After what she has done, there's a gimmick. Control by Islamic agenda in Asorok. I don't know what happened. Just to hear that woman was removed. Maybe she has a shortcoming. But I know her shortcoming cannot be compared with Muslims that are working with Tinubu destruction of this nation, so but they are not removed.
If you're referring to Dr. Betaidu, is that it?
Yeah, that woman, I didn't get her name. That woman really helped. So I look at it, they say, this woman helped these people. In fact, she's going to cause harm for Islam in the north. They maneuver the way they remove her. You see, any person in Jos, when Darie, my governor, Joshua Darie, hear very well, they have been killing us in mass from village to village. And do you know what happened? When he saw in one of the village that this machinery that were hired, many of them, our youth killed them in our territory. So the former general secretary of Miyeti Allah, Saleh Bayari, he packed the corpse to the government house. I imagine that day, the governor, Darie, said, you people have been killing Christians. I didn't say anything. Because my hand, now you brought the corpse, what do you want me to do? The Christians have never packed their corpse to bring to me. It's an offense to Islamic war. Since from that day, they started attacking this man. Because they want him to use all machineries to kill the Muslims. But he refused. Okay,
very quickly, I want us to go back to the removal of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs that you mentioned.
Yes.
Did she at any point offer support outrightly to the community?
No, yes, she did. She brought trailer of rice. She brought mattresses. She sent representative to Broad.
So are you now saying that you think her removal was attributed to that?
Let me tell you, at the shadow. But they know best. But one thing that I know, with what she has done for us. These people, when they kill us, they don't want the governor to come in. You see, when the governor stood, they forced their way to Obasanjo, and he declared state of emergency. Barrier was removed. And I thank God that day, after 6 months, they still stood with enforcement that Daria should never come back. God chose me single-handedly at TCN, and I spoke. My brothers, after they have deliberated who is who in Plateau, they said Daria should never come back. I will not forget. The former camp chairman, Yakub Pam, was there. So I raised my voice. I said, where is your brother? Don't you see Islamic agenda is a war on Plateau because it's a Christian state? Why should we reject our brother? Why should we become Cain to kill our brother? This thing is moving down to the south. God is asking the Yoruba Christians, where is your brother? And the Muslims, where is your brother? We are all Nigerians. We are supposed to protect one another. God is going to ask us, where is our brother? The Muslims in the north, the Fulani. If we have killed them in our mind, God is going to challenge us. Where is the blood of our brother?
You were talking about some of these experiences, some of these killings that you have, you've seen the bodies, you've conducted mass burials. You also shared some accounts of things that happened in Dogonahawa village, and you talked about some things that happened in Yelwa Shandam. Now, one of the examples you gave was the fact that sometimes these attackers come to the churches and kill the men and rape some of the women, and then you also allege that some women are taken to neighboring villages. Run me through some of these experiences, because there have been speculations that since these attacks started, the Islamic groups or Islamic leaders have not really done anything in terms of sanctioning some of these Muslim attackers that have been alleged to attack these people. And it didn't just start in 2021. If we look back in history, we will talk about Deborah Yakubu, who was stoned to death in 2022. We'll also talk about Deaconess Eunice Olawale, who was murdered by alleged Muslim extremists in 2016. So people are saying that if it's not religiously motivated, why are these Islamist leaders not calling to order, or at least enforcing the sanctions and punishment of some of these perpetrators?
In fact, you see, what happened, the real issue here is glaring. There are forces from the Islamic perspective that is being released so that the world will not know that Christians are not killed. But let's look at, to prove to you this is religion. They know. Look at Deborah killing. No cleric of Islam condemn it. The mission of Leah is to show the world that they are in control of Christians. Nobody can do anything. The issue of Muslim ticket. That's a complete genocide to the Christian in Nigeria. And it's all plans towards Islamic people to take over Nigeria. Special advisor on security matters. It's a position that has become a birthright for Islam. Look at it. A non-cleric, Sheikh Yahya Jingri, came out publicly and said they should stop arresting Fulani. And he's the leader of Izala, the strongest sect in Islam. And all his people are allegiant to what he said. No government condemned him. No single cleric. They were silent about it. The man was boastful. And you will say that this thing is not religion?
Okay, Reverend Dashman, let's talk the warning that was issued by the President of the United States regarding a military intervention if the federal government doesn't act fast. Do you think that a U.S. intervention will solve the problem of insecurity, or would it just worsen the already existing issue on ground?
In 1992-93 in Kaduna, a riot broke out which they call the Zango Kataf riot. I was a young boy, very, very young then, and people were killed in scores. If you are not an Hausa person practicing Muslim in Islam, they were killed. Especially if you are from the southern part of Kaduna, the tribes from the southern part of Kaduna, they were massacred. It was called the Zango Katafriot. And if the next thing they do is to burn churches, kill Christians, and then if they're done with that, then they focus on businesses that is for Igbo people, Igbo-owned businesses, and they destroyed it. I grew up knowing that Christians are an endangered species in Nigeria. In the year 2000, when the Sharia riots, how many of you have heard of the Sharia riot? Hundreds of thousands of people were killed in Kaduna. I can remember vividly that we had to defend our house from people. They brought some Fulani boys and they faced our house. They were shooting arrows. They were stoning our zinc. They spot our zinc shooting arrows. Even though I was a Muslim then. Even though my father was a Muslim then. But because majority of the people in our compound were Christians, so they were willing to destroy every one of us because we're living with Christians. I can remember a particular church in Mando, for those that know Mando, in Kaduna, called Chapel of Redemption. That church was destroyed. And so from that time, anytime there's a little hanky-panky in Nigeria, the first target is churches and Christians. And this has prevailed for a long time. That even if there's a problem with in another country, the Muslim and the Hausas in Nigeria will rise up and begin to kill Christians. How many of you remember the Miss World crisis in 2002, 2001, 2002? That somebody drew a picture of Muhammad or something in France, long away in France, and they began to fight in Nigeria. Are you following me? Christians are endangered species. Now let me give you, and that's how it has continued. Scores have been killed, and they focus on regions where there is a mixture of both Christianity and Islam. If you look at states like Kaduna, state like Plateau State, state like Nasarawa, state like Taraba, state like Benue, state like Bauchi, state like Gombe, state like Borno. These are places where they focus on because they intend to eliminate every living Christian in that place. Anybody that debunks it is a total lie because I have grown and lived in the north. I've spent 80 to 80% of my life in the north, so I understand this thing. Several times, I cannot forget the Sharia riot. We were running for our lives. Even though we were Muslims, but we're still running because as far as you are not of that ethnic group, practicing what they practice, you are a victim. You can be burnt alive. Many of us saw human beings that were burnt alive, like roasted like yam. And it has been going on for a long time. The genocide against the Christian faith. Are you with me? Many years ago, in Kano State, a man was beheaded. And anything they talk about, he said blasphemy. And guess who was the person that led it? The man called Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, was the one that led him up. And they beheaded him, they killed the Igbo man. They killed him and they put his head on the stake and they were using it to parade the city. You will understand of a woman also that is an evangelist. Evangelist Eunice that was preaching about 2016 or 18 in Abuja. And they killed her. We cannot talk about a young girl called Deborah Samuel that was killed. I schooled in Jos, and for years, the people of Plateau have been massacred. Riot breaking out every single time. The world that the moment anything happens, the next people that are victims are Christians. And it is unfortunate that all these years the government have not been able to do anything about it. But the agenda is deep. Are you with me this morning? Why am I saying? Because I don't want us to be an ignorant people. If we are ignorant people, they will control the narrative. And these days, let me tell you this truth. God will not come and fight for you. Remove that thing from your mind. If Christians don't rise up, pray from now till tomorrow. God is not coming to fight for you. Are you with me? Now, in the year 2009, Boko Haram started. Boko Haram started because of a section. It was a political movement. They created Boko Haram as a political talks to bring confusion into the government of Goodluck Jonathan. And to be able to, destroy any opposition, starting from Borno State, under the watch of a man called Kashim Shettima, which is now the vice president of Nigeria. Kashim Shettima and the other man, Ali Mohammed Sharif. These were the people that started the business of Boko Haram as a political talks. Finally, a
Yoruba pastor, I think it's a white garment pastor, has come out. The person's name is Prophet Gabriel Evans. And here this headline says, is there a Christian genocide in Nigeria? Yes, there is. Prophet Gabriel Evans breaks silence on insecurity and speaks with a heavy heart as he honors Reverend Dachumo Ezekiel, a man still standing amid ashes and bloodshed in the north. So this is a prophet, a white garment prophet, coming out to say the way it is, but we have leaders who are so quiet, they are so quiet, they don't want to talk. Now, let me allow you to take a look at this. Some of the reactions. This person says, they debate whether it's Christian genocide or not is secondary. People are dying in hundreds and media, and the government is arguing whether or not it's Christian genocide. I hate this country, man. This one says, watch this fearless pastor as well. He now added another pastor here. Okay, this one is a radical one we've been watching. Now, This one here says, even white garment prophets have more sense than Wale Adefarensi. Amazing times. This was using people's life to play politics is beyond pathetic, honestly. It's really beyond pathetic. They are using people's lives to play politics. Very emotional and heart-wrenching. Thank you, man of God, for speaking out against the evil in the land. Let us keep speaking up and out in complete unity of faith. We must see an end to this evil. I think it's really good Nigerians come up with like a ranting challenge. Let's do a ranting challenge for like 1 month, you know. People who have been victim of all this should come out. If you have a relative, you have a family member, a friend, you know someone, and the way the person was spied, you have video clips, you have images you have to attach. I think this is really going to help to give America more to what they already have on ground. And this person here is waiting they delay Trump. Pampe, they disturb Christians. This other person here saying, this is so heartbreaking. The fact that people are still losing their lives for their faith in 2025 is beyond tragic. Respect to Reverend Dachumo Ezike, still standing in the midst of ashes, pain, loss. May God comfort the broken, strengthen the weary, and bring peace to every corner of the north. If the Fulanis are ready to embrace peace. The way this insecurity is going, we all need to pay attention. Not because you have never been a victim. Things self-defense need to be approved. And another person say he just said it the way it is. Anyone denying it hates truth. I'm still waiting for Pastor Adeboye, Paul Adefarensi, and Pastor Oyedepo etc. to come out and agree that Christians are being spied in the north. And this other person here say it's a good thing that he has finally spoken. Sure, genocide real, but government they blind like bats. Evans talk truth, way fit weak, sleeping lion, roar louder. Oh my God. And this other person here say Reverend Dachumo walked so that my can run. I don't understand what this person means. So guys, these are some of the reactions after a white garmented church pastor or prophet was seen condemning what is happening in Nigeria, saying it is purely genocide. Now, let me take you through another reaction where some northerners have come out to express how they feel about what is happening in the north, that the worst part is that they can't even speak up. They are not allowed to speak up and all that. This person said the so-called elites in the north, the prominent ones, Sanusi, Pantami, Northern Elder Forum, Military Ala Sultan of Sokoto, whose kids resides in the west, we certainly not have such level of intellect exhibited by this lady articulately. She escaped the madrasa. I don't know what madrasa, I think it's a Tamil. I'm so happy to see this. Thank you for letting us know this here. So some of the northerners, especially the Hausas, they are not happy with what is going on. But you know, their hands are tied by the Fulanis. They can't even shake body. They are almost not in government. The Fulanis have taken over. And this person says education is key. Education opens your eye. Look at the reasonable woman. Not all these uneducated people that just choke whatever they tell them at the mosque. Northerners will soon come for her head now that she's opposing the will of Allah. When you see a reasonable northerner, you will wonder why the reasonable ones don't most times come to talk sense to the less educated ones. So guys, let me know your thoughts on all this. You see, the pastor has come out and spoken his mind. I just hope that the government will hear.